Hey there, I'm Sarah Hodges, and this is Executives Uncut, the podcast where we provide solutions for the corporate cycle of hell. Now, today, we are taking a much needed break from politics and instead talking about data driven decision making. I'm here with Dr. Dale Nesbary, president of Muskegon Community College. Welcome, Dale. Thanks so much for joining us.
Sarah, thanks for having me.
Now, are you going to be able to handle not talking about politics today? I know you have quite a background in
Yeah, I'm
it.
a former political science professor, undergraduate and graduate, worked on political campaigns since 1976. So
Wow.
it's going to be difficult, but I'll do my best.
All right, let's talk about data today because I know everybody needs a break break from that, maybe even
Yeah,
you. Can you tell us a little bit about your non-political background?
sure. I am president of Muskegon Community College. Been here for this is my 12th year. For the college, it's roughly 7,000 students, assuming COVID's not in play. A fewer than that right now. But 500 employees. We serve the Lakeshore region of Michigan. Married, beautiful wife Connie, who I understand you know, and
Yes, that's how we
two
met.
adult children, indeed. But we live all over the country. We were just discussing this earlier. Both Muskegon, Michigan, Lansing, Michigan, Denver, Colorado, Boston, Massachusetts, which I know you love
My
for a
life.
long time, San Diego for a little while, and then eventually back to this area. But yeah, 35 years away from Muskegon, from high school, bouncing around the nation, degrees, jobs, and so forth. That's a
Wow.
little bit about me and what I'm doing right now.
That's awesome. I was a nomad for a long time too, living in
Sure.
multiple states, multiple cities. And I think it's been interesting to come back to my hometown in West Michigan and look at the world through a little bit of a different lens. And it's amazing that you can bring that to Muskegon Community College. So,
Sure.
but I'm really wondering, my mom is a teacher. I
Okay.
know that it has been so difficult for schools to navigate COVID-19. How have you been navigating it?
Well, we're doing what you might imagine. We're requiring masks of everyone. We're requiring sanitizer for everyone. We're requiring testing in some cases. It's everything that you might imagine for, especially a community college. I mean, we're embedded in our community in a deep way. We actually have a health center physically on our campus, a primary care facility, which has been shifted to what's called a Fury Clinic. It's serving upper respiratory illnesses, including COVID. So, in these times of
Wow.
COVID-19, we're not only protecting our employees and our students, but we have healthcare on our campus, standing ready to help our community and our students move through this.
That's amazing. And I know you mentioned, that data really helped you make those decisions. Can you give us an example?
Sure, sure. What we do is we examine our community in a deep way. We survey our we serve roughly a 3 to 4 county area with about 400,000 people. So we'll ask them what they need from us, and we'll provide that. In terms of COVID, what they needed from us, number one, is to remain safe. I mean, for our students in particular, they come to campus, they leave. We have 17 athletic squads on campus where have students ordinarily interact very closely. Music squads. Actually, you'll love this being a New Yorker. We've had two groups recently perform at Carnegie Hall, the Isaac Stern Auditorium, in fact. So
Wow, that's awesome.
we're traveling all over the country, and in these times, those students need to be safe. So
Mhm.
we do what we can in ways that I described to help our students be safe. We actually shut down on Friday, the 13th of March, for face-to-face classes, and then opened up a few classes during the summer. We have a few more now, but we're considering right at this moment whether we should scale back for those roughly 20% of classes that are still on campus, which means our main campus. We have some campuses in the region, Grand Haven and downtown Muskegon and some other areas. So yeah, it's top of mind for us.
Yeah, it sounds like safety for your students and the community at large is top of mind for you. And I'm wondering though about your own safety and there's so many difficult decisions that you need to make. How have you taken care of yourself personally or what have you had to overcome personally to best serve everyone during this time?
Well, a couple things. One, my wife Connie is a mental health therapist, master level psychologist. So when I'm losing it, she hunts me down and settles me down. Oh,
That really helps. So you have it right
yeah,
in the home. You have the support
yeah,
that you need. Well, what
yeah.
else?
Well, I'm a professional trombonist. I played since I was about, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. And so that I'm not doing gigs right now, just one gig this entire summer, but anything from uh, jazz to symphony, play with symphony orchestra, multiple jazz groups, and so forth. And so it's very relaxing to play music. I mean, usually I have a trombone sitting right across from me, but that's at home right now. So it's a good way to
Too
relax.
bad. We could have had a concert too on the podcast. That would have been
Well,
awesome.
a guy whose chops are not in the best shape, but I'm doing what I can.
That's great. So it sounds like you're taking out time for self-care. You
Yeah.
have a lot of support at home. How has this experience, do you think, improved your ability to lead?
Well, it's made me think quite a bit more about what's important in life. I try to our senior staff here. I try to make sure that they take time for their personal needs, and then this was before COVID hit. My roughly 12 years here at Muskegon and Adrian College. If you know Adrian at all, I was their academic vice president there, and I made sure the faculty and our students were relaxed. Even another sort of Boston reference, the Boston Police Department. I was their research director and technology director for a number of years. And there, you're working with guys and women with Glock 9 millimeters as their sidearm of choice. You gotta learn how to get them to relax, and you relax too. So
Yeah.
it's something that you have to again keep that top of mind. What's what's more important? And I'd say as a police officer coming home at night, that's number one
Yeah.
priority. As an educator, making sure everyone's safe. As a husband and a father, making sure that I'm relaxed and ready to go, not causing too much trouble, and think things are going okay. So if you lose focus on that, you may as well not be out there as a professional. So.
I love it. As a coach, that's so great for whoops, we have a big echo all of a sudden.
Oh no.
Uh, that's okay. Let's see if we can edit and maybe echo cancellation. Oh, nope, it stopped. All right.
Oops.
Back. But I got really excited and it echoed through your office.
Well,
But I love hearing as a coach, that you have this ability to self lead. You're recognizing, what you need to care for yourself, to keep yourself relaxed, to bring your best self to work, and then also encouraging others to do the same. That's
sure.
amazing. That's what we always look for as a coach. And it sounds like that makes a really safe, happy culture for everyone. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, and one of the things that I decided I'd do in an environment of COVID, I did this excuse me, before, but if I'm at home, I'll set up my Zoom or my Teams or whatever it might be in what my wife calls our break room. It's actually our sunroom. And so behind me, I was going to do that today, but I decided there'd probably be actually too many deer walking by. I mean,
Oh,
literally,
that's so cool.
yeah, there's a park behind us, and deer walk by, occasional squirrel, the occasional human being. You never know, but yeah, I mean, for people to have a meeting with me rather than sitting in my office or my conference room over here, uh, I'm sitting there with an empty cookie jar with crumbs in it. It's a break room, right? Doing that, that's a lot more fun in an environment that looks like nature as opposed
Mm.
to I think this is a pretty cool place myself, but it's just a way to get people to relax when ordinarily they wouldn't have that opportunity. They're doing their thing in the work environment.
Yeah, and bringing that all the way back around to data, I'm wondering if it almost is easier to rely on data to make decisions because you don't get as emotionally involved in it, right? Like you don't get as worked up, so you're able to keep that calm and relaxed atmosphere for yourself and for others. Would that does that resonate?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this afternoon we have a presentation of our strategic plan to our campus community. And as part of that, we have 124 data points that we track. And I was having a conversation with our institutional research and effectiveness director just before this meeting, and he's providing data for what we do. And as long as people understand what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it, and that includes me. I mean, 24 of those I have a direct role in myself, then I can assess how I'm doing and whether I'm hitting those targets or not. I mean, every person on campus has ownership of one or two of those, so not everyone has the bulk of them. So it makes you understand what you need to do and what you've agreed to do, what I've agreed to do as president, and any of our 250 or so staff, or I'm sorry, faculty have agreed to do, and it works out.
So it helps you kind of zoom out and look at everything from a broader lens. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly.
Yeah, that definitely makes it easier to make decisions. So I'm wondering, for other leaders out there, what are other areas or decisions where they can really rely on data? Any ideas?
Well, I've worked in higher ed for about 25 years now, and before that in law enforcement and finance for the first 10 years of my career. And if you can inform decisions that you make using data, that's critical. But also having a very human touch to the work that you do, understanding that people are people. They need to understand that you care about them and that your priorities are their health, and now their health and safety. That's important. I had a student, so with 7,000 students, right? But I want the students to believe that they can call me or email me. So I get emails, I get texts from students pretty much every day, and I let them know that I'm going to respond to them. If they think it's important enough to call the president of an institution with 7,000 students, then it's important enough for me to get back with them. So if they understand that personal touch can take place, I mean, they have my cell phone number, they have my email, and they're able to contact me if they need to. So just having that personal connection, I think, is the best way that I can advise other leaders to relate with their employees. Now, understanding that there are some businesses that are a lot smaller than say MCC. We have 550 employees, 7,000 students usually, and there are businesses with 1/10 of that, and businesses with 1,000 times that number. So not everyone can do that, but you have to let people know. I really do think you have to let them know. So
I love it. So it's not even so much about using it for specific decisions. It's about when you do use data as a decision, to remember that data represents a human, like it's not just a number, and to look at it through the lens of these are humans that we're dealing with. Is that right?
every single case, every data point means something to someone, or does represent a person, and if you lose focus on that, then we've lost focus on why we're here.
Yeah. So, once this is all over, hopefully, eventually, how do you hope that Muskegon Community College grows or improves as a result of this whole COVID experience?
Well, we've spent some serious time on that topic. One of my roles is it's not just Muskegon. I serve on some state and national boards. I actually chair the Community College Association President's Committee in our board, and the 28 colleges spend quality time on where are we going to be post-COVID, and this is keeping in mind that I have colleagues who have been exposed to and are suffering through COVID right now. So from them it's even more personal than for me. But bottom line is we've all understood that we need to offer more variety online and remotely. I mean, we were doing okay before. Every course had some online component. About 10% of our courses were online before. Now it's 80%. We're probably not going to go to that point, say 3 to 4 or 5 years from now, but it'll have to be a more robust profile. So our students, and they understood that they could take a course at Northeastern or Harvard from their bedrooms before. Now they absolutely can. So I mean, we're a community college serving a region, so we have to understand that we're in competition with with schools all over the world, and they're in competition with us too. We don't. We like to brag about ourselves. We sent students to Carnegie Hall. We've won national championships in athletic competitions. I mean, we have students who are literally world class in what they do by as defined by what they've accomplished. So we don't take a back seat to anyone, but I remind them that your competition isn't someone from Grand Rapids or Hart or Menominee. Your competition is someone from Beijing or we have courses that we offer in Stuttgart, Germany. That's your competition, not someone down the street. And if you understand that that's your competition, it gives you a totally different perspective on the world. And that's what we're going to try to do and share more with our students and our community. So we'll know where we stand and be able to compete in this post-COVID environment.
Yeah, so everything's changing, right? Like all of the goalposts are shifting because of COVID. And I'm wondering how are you using data specifically to set some of those long-term goals or to get a sense of what might happen long term?
Well, through our strategic planning process, our board has a planning process. We have an accrediting process as well, and they're all integrated. So we're shooting at the same targets from each evaluative process. So if we want to improve our institution from whether or not we should be reaccredited, we use data to supply information to our accreditors. If we're convincing the greater community that we need to open a facility in our downtown area or in an area that's not in our county, we use data to indicate how many students are we serving, how many businesses are we serving, what's the demand, and what is on the supply side, how many students do we have from that area attending MCC going to the business community, right? So we use data on a consistent basis, and I believe that's what's caused us to be what I describe as a successful college.
Nice. So how would you, let's say you have someone graduating who's going to become an entrepreneur, what would you recommend to them to get started using data? Like, we're a small organization, right? Like how could I start using data to make decisions?
Well, for our students, we ask them to take a hard look at what jobs are available now, and more importantly, what jobs are going to be available 5, 10 years from now. I mean, we don't really know, but there are well positioned businesses like Burning Glass, for example, that assess these kinds of questions and answer those questions to the best of their ability. Or we were discussing LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the best data analytic businesses out there, and we use data that they've collected on where our alums are around the world, and we bring that back to our students. Hey, we have an alum in LA, or we have an alum in I don't know, Bavaria, and
Cool.
so this is where our students go. This is what they go to do, and this is what you could do as a student, whether you're in allied health, engineering, manufacturing, or music.
Cool. So you're using it to motivate your students.
Yeah, we motivate them and provide them with hard data on what, if you attend Muskegon Community College, and this is the same as when I worked at Adrian College, or I was a professor at Oakland University for a number of years, we would share information about what you could do with a Master of Public Administration degree. I mean, why would I want someone to earn an MPA versus an MBA or versus some other degree? Or, we had to be able to demonstrate that our students were going places if they earned the degree, whether they're, several hundred, well now probably $500-600 a contact hour for a master program. Why are they going to spend those dollars? It's more than, if anyone tells you that there's not a relationship between the quality of the institution and the resources that are moved into that academic program, they're kidding you.
Yeah. So yeah, again, using data to motivate people, to inform them so they can also make decisions based on that data. So, I ask every guest to bring 3 tips for executives who want to implement today's subject, which obviously is decision making based on data. What are the 3 tips that you have for executives out there?
Well, I'd say first of all, make sure that you have a system in place to collect good, sound data. So your data analytics function needs to be strong. And if that's just you, then you need to be able to understand how to gather data and collect it and utilize it. And once you gather that data, you need to use it. So you put it out there. You inform students. You inform your customers. You inform your employees of what the state of play is out there in your industry's field. So make sure they understand what's out there for them to be able to succeed in. And then once they've done that, then use data to help move them out there so that they can, them being either your employees, your students, into the real world, so that they can be more successful. If you do those things, I think as a leader, and again, this all involves collecting data, organizing it in a reasonable way, and then sharing it. Those would be the three things that I think they need to do. Sounds simple, but there are so many businesses, they don't have strategic plans. I won't focus on specifics that don't, but they don't have a plan and they wonder why they're not successful. So
Yeah.
if they have a plan, doesn't have to be too complicated, but it has to allow you to make decisions. It has to be sophisticated enough to allow you to make good, solid decisions for your business or for your educational institution.
Yeah. It's like dating. That's going to be our coaching tip of the week. All right. It's going to be date your data.
Get
to
data.
know
I
it.
like that.
Yeah. Get to know it. Get up close and personal with it. Understand it. And then show it off to your friends.
Sounds good to me.
Date your data. Justin, let's put that in as our coaching tip of the week. Just date your data. But in all seriousness, that's basically what you're saying, right? Like, get to know it, learn how to understand it, really learn how to read it, understand how to what the data is telling you, and then share it with others. Show off your date to your friends.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, so I'm PhD guy, right? And I taught graduate level statistics, and you don't need to have that level of understanding. I wish I did have that level of understanding, but you need to be able to understand your market, and if data is to me the best way to do that for the most part. So get to know data, date your data. Yeah, that's
date your data.
Yeah.
Date your data. Dale. Dale, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for these amazing tips. Where can our viewers find more about you?
Well, if they visit muskegoncc.edu, type in president, I'll show up. Yeah, visit LinkedIn. Nesbary is my last name, Nesbary, or Nesbary.com.
Cool.
That will help as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Any closing remarks before we go?
No, I really appreciate the time, and I wish you the best in your consultancy, and that hopefully this will be a benefit to some of our colleagues out there who need some advice.
I'm sure it will. Well, thank you. And thanks everyone else for tuning in to this episode of Executives Uncut and taking a break with us from politics today. I actually truly forgot about it for the last 23 minutes. So if you enjoyed this content, yay. If you enjoyed this content, subscribe, share with someone who could benefit from this talk. If you want more, you can visit hodgescoaching.com for new episodes, or follow us at Hodges Coaching on social media, pretty much everywhere, except we're still avoiding Twitter. I'm Sarah Hodges, and I will see you next week.